Morning, hope you're all alright. I was up sharpish day this morning, gym for 8:30, little chest and back day today. Come on, just out now with our kid. So, went out yesterday with a couple of mates. Nice day, went into Liverpool city centre, went for a bite to eat. They had a couple of pints. Now I don't drink, so I just had like a glass of Diet Coke, like a non-alcoholic beer, and that was it. Then I got back on the water. Now, what I noticed is, when you're trying to come off the ale, I mean, I'm off the ale, I've been off it now like 17 months, something like that's going on. Good 17 months now. Like, not the Christmas gone, but the Christmas before was the last time I had a bevy. But what I notice is when people have a bevy, obviously you start getting into it, 1 pint turns into two pints. Before you know it, you're 8 to 10 pints in, then you're out then for the night. Now, obviously there's nothing wrong with going out and enjoying yourself. I can go out without a bevy and enjoy myself, that's just the way I do it. I was home for like 8 o'clock, back in the house chilling. But what people do is they start thinking when they get in, I should be out doing this, I should be out doing that. You've got to just stay in your own lane. Like me mate there, he's sound, works, had a bevy yesterday, and I was saying, look, I took the car, I said, I'm going home. If he had a couple of pints, he was looking on out for the night. Now, if you're into your fitness, I'm talking from like a fitness perspective, if you're into your fitness and you're on a good diet all week, you're training hard, you can break that diet by getting on the ale, and then you wonder why you're not getting your gains or you're not getting leaner. I train to get lean. There's a lot of sugar in ale, and you've got to think as well, when you're on the ale, if you're trying to come off it, you can get caught up in the buzz. You've got to think long term. You can't think, a lot of people think short term on it. That's what I found. I've done this myself when I used to drink. You're on the buzz of the ale, you're with your mate, you're having a laugh, there might be birds there or whatever, and then you've got to think of yourself at like 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and you're in a state, was it worth it? Whereas you can go out, you can have a non-alcoholic beer, you can be up fresh the next day. It's just, for me, it's a better lifestyle. I'm not saying it's for everyone, but you've got to think long term rather than short term. You've got to think where when you start on that ale, when you have the first pint, where you're going to be at 3 in the morning. Now, look, if you're one of them people who can just have a few bevies and then cut it off and get home, yes, sound, each to their own, that's fine. A lot of people do that. There's nothing wrong with that, but if you're into your fitness and you want to get lean and shredded and things like that, you've got to think of long term, diet, nutrition. There's nothing wrong with going out and having a pint, but you don't want to be going on sessions and staying up all night, and then you could get on the beach, start getting on the drugs. It's going to write you off all week, it's going to write you off for days. You're not going to be able to train properly in the gym. You've got to just use your head. I used to struggle with this, but now I'm in a place where I can just get myself home. To say, like, I was bad on that weed. It's like my 2 mates who I was with yesterday, they have a spliff. Don't get me wrong, there's times where I'm having a bad day and I think, fuck it. But I wouldn't do it because I know I'd feel like a failure if I had that spliff, and I know that one spliff would turn into 10 spliffs the next day. There's a saying I heard, one's not enough and one's too many, something like that. That's the setup with me. So if you're going to be in a state, you're going to end up on the beach if you're having a bevy, stay out of it. It's not worth it. You've got to think long-term goals. You've got to think where you are the next day. You're going to be rough. You could have plans, then plans will go out the window. Anyway, let's crack on. Start with my dog now and I'm going to start my day. See you in a bit.